Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video, and today is my March TBR. And a lot of these are going to be pretty familiar because my ambitious February TBR defeated me. It definitely did. I did not accomplish all the books that I wanted to do, so let's go and just get some of those out of the way real quick. The first of which being are just 2 of the 4 Full Metal Alchemist books I was planning on reading. I did read 5 and 6. I did not get to 7 and 8. I probably could finish these pretty quickly, but since I am really struggling this last week to finish the novels I wanted to get to, I figured I would just leave it about 2 apiece. And I say 2 apiece because I did the same thing with the other manga series that I wanted to read, which is Dion Angel. I only got to 5 and 6 of these, and so I still have 7 and 8 left. Again, we'll just see how these go. Full Metal Alchemist is still amazing. This one is steadily just staying okay. If you want more information about what these are about, you can check out, I think literally my January and my February TBR should go more into, I think, both of these books. The next book that I did not get to was King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is the 3rd series in her Grisha universe. There's the first, the Smoke and Bone trilogy, which I did not read. I really just don't think I'm going to be a fan of it. I did spoil myself and read the lore or read the plot, so I knew more about what happened in this one. But I can just tell by the way people are talking about it. It just doesn't seem like the way the story progresses would be for me. And I didn't really want to waste my time reading the trilogy. But I loved Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. And this does have one of the perspectives there. So I'm really looking forward to this. I read literally a really small bit of this. I think I'm like 2 chapters in or something like that. So I feel like the atmosphere is really good. The intrigue is a really good setup already, just 2 chapters in. And I'm looking forward to it. Also, this is the naked hardback of it. I don't have the cover, the dust jacket's like somewhere else, but this is a really nice naked cover. So the other book I didn't get to was Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is, I'm sure most people know what this is. This is going around booktube a lot. I kind of wish I did get to it just because it was Black History Month, and we'll get to in another book, but I didn't really pick up any books in honor of Black History Month. But I still definitely want to read this. It just did not come first on the list, so I still want to get to it. I've heard a lot of great things, so I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm really skimming over these because most of these I talked about in my all of these ones so far I've talked about in my February TBR because I failed and didn't read. The other book I did not read that I said I was going to is Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief. This would be a reread for me. I did go into this whole spiel in February about how this is like a year of rereads for me, and so I thought it was a really good time because Murphy Napier was talking about one of the Percy Jackson books, and I haven't reread them in a long time, and I just finished the Apollo series, blah blah blah. But honestly, I just don't think I'm going to get to it. It was still so low on my list, and I didn't even get to it, and I'm thinking, do I still want to try to get it? I still don't even think I want to read it in March, so I'm probably just going to put this back on my shelf and reread it some other time. So the new books I want to read for March that I didn't miss in February, the first of which being is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. This is the same author of Aragon. I think it's the only book series he's written. And I have also started this one. This is going to be my audiobook for the month because it's massive. And I'm probably going to draw a lot while I listen to it. I have actually already started this one. It's very atmospheric. It's essentially like a first encounter with aliens kind of thing, and honestly it was really starting to spook me out when I was listening to it because some creepy stuff started happening. It wasn't even really that creepy. It was just really atmospheric, setting us up in this universe and this world. I think it was just a really good start. I think it's a really good book to draw while I listen to. So the book I want to read after that is the Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. I was also planning on reading this one in February because it was a new release and it arrived in February, and I feel like that's what most of my books have been so far. As soon as I get a new release, I just immediately pick it up and read it. But I read the first chapter of this, and it was a lot. So from what I knew about this book, first off, I love this cover, and second off, I've been waiting for this book for like over a year. Like, I definitely put this on my TBR, wanting to read it like last year. It was supposed to release like February of last year, so I've been waiting for this for a really long time. So I was like very excited for it to come in. But I read the first chapter, and what I knew about it was that there's a girl, and they go through this test, and if they turn out that their blood runs red, they're supposed to be normal, and if their blood runs gold, then they are not, and your blood running gold is extremely bad. Even as I say that, it doesn't sound like the most interesting concept. It's kind of like, clearly their gold blood means something. I mean, gold is very precious, so I'm sure we're going to learn about like why or how it's kind of turned into a bad thing and whatnot. But this first chapter, it was just really heavy. It already sets up that the women are very oppressed because they essentially just are supposed to, at 15 or so, they do this thing, I think, with like the blood ceremony, and then that's when they pretty much get chosen a partner and they become women and have babies and a family and stuff like that. Honestly, right there, that trope is pretty tiring. I know it's an assumption or it's like a stereotype and stuff like that, and it's a very real thing that women have to deal with, thinking that they kind of just fit into this mold of being a housewife. But honestly, it's kind of aggravating, like, seeing it a lot. Just for once, I would either like to see someone actually want to start a family. I'm not starting to stereotype women or saying that they need to start a family. Personally, me, when I was growing up in high school and stuff like that, I actually really wanted to be a dad and have a family and stuff like that. So I don't think it's wrong to say, like, I just wish someone would want to have a family. But it's true. It's like, at some point, you'd want one of these protagonists to stop just being like, oh, I'm supposed to have a family, but I just don't want to. Because it's tiring. At this point, I would like someone to be interested in having a family, then things going wrong and them having to deal with it. I'm not saying they have to literally have a family and get married and stuff like that, but at least be interested in it would be a refresher for once. Or just don't include the trope at all. Just don't make them have to like have a family. Don't make that be part of the plot. On top of that, I believe that her parent has already died, so her mother's gone, so she has to make up work for her mother having gone, because her father's the only one left. So there is a dead parent trope or heaviness to it. Then they go into town, and immediately she is sexually assaulted in broad daylight. So again, that can happen, but it's just kind of heavy just to happen right there. Just some guy just starts sexually harassing her. Then there's also racism, because I thought this was just like an entirely like African inspired book, like all of them were going to be like African American, and she's not. She's actually she's around a bunch of white people, and so they are very racist to her. They talk a lot about like how she's very pretty for being black and stuff like that. So I was like, I didn't realize this was also going to be that type of book. We're going to go in that angle. Well, first off, the guy kind of and treats her even more like an object than normal because she's a pretty dark-skinned woman. So he talks about her being rare and blah blah blah. And then so there's that sexual assault plus the racism. And then she runs into a mean white girl who also treats her bad for being black and poor. She talks about her being poor or whatever. And it's like, even as a setup to where the mean girl's being mean to her, and then like the mom of the rich white girl comes up and she's like, now let's watch our language. And then the main character is like, oh wow, I'm actually being saved for once, or something like that. And then the mom also makes a mean comment, like Lucius Malfoy style. And I'm just kind of like, and that's like pretty much the whole first chapter. And there's obviously nothing wrong with setting up a lot of trouble and turmoil. This is someone's life. These are very real events. It's just, I didn't expect them all to just happen in the first chapter, for you just like lay bare all of it. Honestly, for this to work, I hope that the book is written really well with all these issues, just because I feel like there's just a better way to write multiple issues besides just like one after the other in the first chapter. Like, it didn't interest me. It's just kind of bummed me out, and I was just like, I think I read it when, if you don't know, Texas had this crazy weather, and my part of Texas where I'm from, we basically lost all of electricity, or like off and on electricity, like all day and night. So pretty much I couldn't read at night at all. I couldn't work during the day, but I was basically able to read, which was nice. And that was one of the books I picked up to try to like break up the current book I was reading, because I can't read all day. And yeah, when I read that, I was just like, you know, now's not the time. So again, I was really disappointed in that, because I was looking forward to it, and it was one of the books I wanted to read for Black History Month, for that representation. But I just put it aside. So I'm nervous because I don't really feel like I have a lot of, I mean, I guess I just don't want to dislike this book because of all those issues, because I'm a white man. But so yeah, I'm hoping it's just written well. Like, so you can have all these issues, hopefully it's just written well. That's all I'm hoping for. Besides that, I think all those books the last thing I probably want to do if I still wanted to reread a book would be Peter and the Starcatchers, the second book. I read the first one in February, so I'll be talking about it in my February wrap up. I'm really much looking forward to this. I really liked the first one, and I would like to continue to keep making progress on my rereads for this year. So yeah, that is it. It doesn't feel like a lot, but I think since most of these are on my shelf, like, I'll probably show a picture, but I really like my setup. I have my work desk here with some nice little decorations and stuff, and like my pencils, my pens, and everything, and I have pretty much all the books I want to read for the month just sitting right here. I feel like it doesn't seem like I have all my books, because these books have been sitting on my desk, and they're going to be now for 2 months. What am I saying? Am I even making sense? Not really. Basically, I've had these books sitting on my desk since the beginning of February, so it feels like I need to be having different books to read for March, but I failed. Because yeah, the Gilded ones, King of Scars, the mangas, Legendborn, and yeah, all these books have been sitting on my shelves for a pretty long time. The only one that's kind of new is Sleep in a Sea of Stars. I just left that on my other shelf, my like TBR shelf in the other room, because I hadn't like started it yet. Oh my lord, what am I doing to myself? Alright, so that is it. I feel like this is actually still ambitious. This is 5 books. So these are the 5 books I want to read. Oh my god, can you imagine if I got hit in the head with these like hardback editions? Just like knock me right out. So these are the 5 books I want to read for March, and then technically 6 or 7, because the mangas, I usually always like, I never know how to count mangas. I don't want to say like reading a manga is not reading a book, but to me they are really short and I can read them really fast, so it's hard to count it. But yeah, these are the 6 or 7 books that I want to read for March. I'm definitely looking forward to, well, most of them, that's why I want to read them. Like I said, I'm hesitant on the Gilded ones. I'm really nervous. I'm nervous on to Sleep in a Sea of Stars, because it's a really big book and there's a lot that can go wrong in all the amount of pages. I'm probably only like a couple chapters in, like maybe 50 pages. I'm really looking forward to King of Scars. I'm disappointed I didn't get to that, because I'm super looking forward to it. And I've heard amazing things about Legendborn. And like I said, fingers crossed that I make it to Peter and the Starcatchers book 2, because I love that first book. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have read any of these. Let me know what you think, and keep a lookout for my February wrap up to see what I ended up finishing, because there are some pretty good ones on there. But yeah, if you want to stay connected, my Goodreads is always linked below, as well as my Instagram. I would love to keep in contact and keep talking about more bookish stuff. And yeah, leave a comment down below about anything you've seen here, and I will see you all next time. Bye now.